What makes Argentina so special? Is it the tango, the passion for football, or the vast pampas that stretch as far as the eye can see? Argentina is known for its love of football, its stunning landscapes like the Andes Mountains, and of course, its world-famous beef. But how did this land become one of the most powerful and influential countries in South America? In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating history of Argentina, from the time of its indigenous tribes to its fight for independence and the struggles and triumphs it has experienced in the modern world. Let's dive in to explore how Argentina became the nation it is today. Long before the first Europeans arrived on the shores of what would later be Argentina, the land was home to a rich tapestry of indigenous cultures. The northern regions of Argentina were influenced by the mighty Inca Empire, which stretched across much of South America. The Incas introduced advanced agricultural techniques, established complex road systems, and created a well-organized society that left a lasting impact on the region. Further south, groups like the Diaguita, known for their farming expertise and metalworking skills, thrived. They cultivated crops like corn and potatoes, and their craftsmanship in metal and ceramics was highly regarded. Meanwhile, in the southern parts of the country, nomadic tribes such as the Mapuche and the Tahu relied on hunting, fishing, and gathering. Their culture was deeply tied to nature, forming strong traditions that remained intact for centuries. However, with the arrival of European explorers in the early 16th century, the indigenous way of life began to change dramatically. The first steps toward colonization would forever alter Argentina's landscape, both physically and culturally. In 1516, Spanish explorer Juan Díaz de Solís arrived at the Rio de la Plata, marking the beginning of European exploration in the region. However, it wasn't until 1580 that Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina today, was officially founded by Juan de Garay. Argentina then became a part of the Spanish Empire, first as a colony under the Viceroyalty of Peru and later as the Viceroyalty of the Rio de la Plata, with Buenos Aires as its hub. Under Spanish rule, Argentina's economy grew around agriculture, cattle ranching, and leather exports, with the fertile Pampas region becoming a key area for large-scale cattle farming. While this economic foundation took hold, Spain's control over the region was never complete. The vast distances between Buenos Aires and the rest of the country made it difficult for the Spanish to maintain effective control. In addition, resistance from indigenous groups who had lived on the land for centuries continued, setting the stage for tensions and eventual rebellion. By the late 18th century, dissatisfaction with Spanish rule was growing, fueled by increasing frustration with the lack of local autonomy and the weakening of the Spanish Empire itself. The winds of change were blowing, and the road to independence was about to begin. Argentina's path to independence was set in motion in 1810 with the May Revolution. As revolutionary movements spread across Latin America, the people of Buenos Aires rose up against Spanish rule. Leaders like José de San Martín and Manuel Belgrano emerged at the forefront of the independence movement, inspiring the country to take action. San Martín's leadership was crucial in the fight for independence. His military expertise helped lead Argentina, as well as Chile and Peru, to independence from Spanish rule. After years of fierce battles and hardships, Argentina officially declared its independence on July 9, 1816, in the city of Tucumán. While this declaration marked the end of Spanish colonial rule, the country's journey to unity was far from complete. Although Argentina had won its independence, internal divisions persisted. Some regions sought a strong central government, while others advocated for more autonomy. These competing visions of governance led to a series of civil wars, further complicating Argentina's efforts to create a stable and united nation. These internal struggles for power would continue to shape the country's future for years to come. By the late 19th century, Argentina began to heal its internal wounds and started to grow into a stronger, more unified country. Leaders like Bartolomé Mitre and Julio Argentino Roca helped solidify the nation's political foundation. One of the most significant developments during this time was the government's encouragement of European immigration, particularly from Italy and Spain. This wave of immigration brought new cultures, ideas, and skills that would significantly shape Argentina's economy and society. With a growing population and more infrastructure, Argentina experienced an economic boom. The country became one of the world's leading producers of beef, wheat, and grain. Buenos Aires transformed into a cosmopolitan city, with grand avenues, theaters, and cultural institutions being built, symbolizing the nation's new prosperity. The country's wealth grew rapidly, and its influence on the international stage grew as well. Yet, despite this progress, the prosperity was not equally shared. Wealth inequality, exploitation of workers, and social divisions began to surface, laying the groundwork for political challenges that would come in the years ahead. The 1930s saw Argentina facing economic instability due to the Great Depression. A military coup in 1930 ousted the democratically elected President Hipólito Yrigoyen, plunging the country into political turmoil. Amidst this unrest, a new leader, Juan Domingo Perón, emerged. Perón's charisma and his focus on social reform won him immense popularity, particularly among the working class. When Perón became president in 1946, he implemented a series of reforms aimed at improving workers' rights, expanding labor conditions, and promoting industrialization. His wife, Eva Perón, known affectionately as Evita, became a beloved figure for her advocacy of women's rights and her work with the poor. However, Perón's time in power was not without controversy. His authoritarian style of governance led to his downfall in 1955, when a military coup forced him into exile. Yet, Perón's political ideas, now known as Peronism, continued to shape Argentina's political landscape, influencing future leaders and political movements for decades. Following Perón's ousting, Argentina was once again ruled by the military. In the 1970s and early 1980s, the country experienced one of the darkest periods in its history, the Dirty War. During this time, thousands of suspected political opponents were tortured, disappeared, or killed by the military dictatorship. The Mothers of the Plaza de Mayo, a group of mothers searching for their missing children, became a powerful symbol of resistance. The end of the dictatorship came in 1983, following Argentina's defeat in the Falklands War. The military government's failure in the war led to public disillusionment, forcing the military to relinquish power and return the country to civilian rule under President Raúl Alfonsín. Alfonsín worked to address the human rights violations of the dictatorship and began the long process of rebuilding the nation's democratic institutions. Argentina continued to face economic struggles in the years that followed. The 2001 economic crisis, marked by widespread poverty, unemployment, and social unrest, led to the resignation of several presidents in quick succession. However, the country began to recover under the leadership of Néstor Kirchner, who was elected president in 2003. Kirchner focused on debt restructuring, social programs, and stabilizing the economy, which helped Argentina return to a period of growth. His wife, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, followed him as president and continued many of his policies, though her time in office was marked by both success and controversy. Argentina's recovery, however, was not without its challenges, and political and economic divisions persisted. In 2023, Argentina elected Javier Milei as president, who has implemented market-oriented reforms aimed at tackling the country's persistent inflation and economic problems. His policies, though controversial, represent a new approach to solving Argentina's long-standing economic struggles. Argentina's history is a rich tapestry of triumphs, struggles, and resilience. From the ancient cultures of its indigenous peoples to its fight for independence, from the rise of Peronism to its darkest years under military dictatorship, Argentina has faced countless challenges. Yet, through it all, the spirit of the Argentine people has remained strong. Today, Argentina continues to confront political and economic issues, but it remains a country with a deep cultural heritage and a population determined to overcome its challenges. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Argentina's past. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more amazing stories from history.